going to be sharing with you in this video how to deal with negative emotions when manifesting your reality into existence, because some people don't really understand how to deal with negative emotions in the manifestation process. And whenever a negative emotion comes up to the surface, there's a big reaction and meaning put on top of that negative emotion, which typically actually amplifies that negative emotion even more, which we'll talk about that more in a moment here. But typically, resistance to negative emotions and not knowing how to deal with them actually causes more of that emotion into your existence. And we don't want that. We want to remove the negative emotions and allow you to step into the emotions, the energy in motion that you prefer to experience. And that's all an emotion is it's just energy in motion. So you want to shift into the energy in motion that you desire, that pattern that you desire. That's all an emotion is. It's an energy in motion, and it's a pattern in the infinite field of consciousness, and you can tune into that reality that you prefer. And we're going to talk about exactly how to do that in this video. So this is going to be how to deal with negative emotions when manifesting your reality into existence. If you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you in terms of how to deal with negative emotions when manifesting your reality into existence is that number one, negative emotions / resistance or your emotional guidance system. That's all it really is. There's nothing wrong with having a negative emotion. It's just that in society, we've called negative emotions something bad. We've said that, oh, if I'm experiencing a negative emotion, that is a bad thing. And what does that do? That actually amplifies that negative emotion even more, because you call it something bad, and then so you get more of it because what you resist actually persists. So one thing that I want to share with you, first of all, is that there's nothing wrong with a negative emotion. It's a regular part of living life in whatever form that you're living life. It doesn't matter if you're a human or even if you're some other species watching this video on another planet. Literally what's happening is that your emotional guidance system, and this system that every being has on the planet, is a very natural and intuitive system that we all have that we've lost touch with, in my opinion, because we've forgotten that our natural state of being is to be in a state of peace and overall contentness and calmness, and then to create what we prefer from that space of being calm and connected to who we truly are. But what we've forgotten as well is that negative emotions / resistance are just simply a emotional guidance system, and there's nothing wrong with having a negative emotion. So that's the first step really to deal with negative emotions, is to first see that there's nothing actually wrong with a negative emotion. And I want you to not just see it from a perspective of taking my word for this, but personally what I invite you to do is to notice in your own experience that when you call resistance a bad thing, what this does is this amplifies the resistance, creates even more resistance, and then it keeps you stuck in a reality, in some sort of a pattern that you do not prefer to be in. And you obviously don't want to be manifesting that reality into existence. And it's obvious from that higher vantage point, but when we believe in the negative emotion not being connected to our guidance system, it's not so obvious, and it seems very compelling, and that momentum of that resistance can seem compelling, even though the opposite of what we want is manifesting. Still, there's a persistence from the ego to go into that resistance when you don't need to resist the resistance. You can simply allow that resistance to be there and then let it go, and trust that when a negative emotion arises, it's just your emotional guidance system. Now, if you're confused, the second point will probably clarify what it is that you need in order to allow this topic to sink in at a deeper level, which is that number two, when that negative emotion arises, not only is it not a bad thing, which is definitely something that I wanted to highlight before I go into how to use these negative emotions to your advantage in the manifestation process. So not only are these negative emotions that are coming up in your life in the manifestation process or in any area of your life not a bad thing, they're not a bad thing at all. In fact, they are a very good thing. It's a good thing when a negative emotion arises. That's actually a good sign that your intuitive emotional guidance system is perfectly in check and you're a conscious individual that is aware of their negative emotions. If you weren't aware of your negative emotions, that would be a problem. That would mean that you're unconsciously living in some sort of a reality where you don't even know that you have a negative emotion. But if you're in the manifestation process and a negative emotion arises and you're actually conscious of that, that actually shows something about your level of consciousness and is simply pointing to the fact that something needs to shift in that moment. So not only is it not a bad thing, it's a good thing, because all a negative emotion is really telling you is that something needs to shift in your current present moment experience. Something needs to shift. Maybe your state of being needs to shift. Maybe your perspective needs to shift. Maybe your position physically needs to shift. Maybe you genuinely need to just get up and go for a walk. There's no one answer when it comes to what needs to shift, but the place that you're coming from in terms of what you do is guiding you to shift into something. Now that something is going to be different for each individual, but the place that you come from is going to be universal in the sense that there's something guiding you to say that, wait a second, this is causing resistance because it's out of alignment with what you want to create. It's not causing resistance really because there's anything wrong. There's nothing wrong. See, what's happening is that when we feel resistance, the ego likes to quickly assume that there's something wrong. Like, oh my gosh, what's the problem? There's something wrong. Everything that I want is falling apart. If you take negative emotion and you have that reaction to the negative emotion, and you react to the reaction, that's really what's happening there, is there's a reaction, and there's a reaction to the reaction, and there's a reaction to the reaction to the reaction, and then it goes into a downward spiral of manifesting the opposite of what you prefer to experience in this present moment. But what you want to do instead is simply allow that reaction to come up to the surface and say to yourself that you don't need to be reacting to that. And it's not even something that you want to be saying to yourself. You want to simply become conscious that feeding into that reaction is going to do the opposite of what you want. It's one thing to take my word for this, and it's another thing to realize when you're amplifying the exact reality that you do not want to be experiencing with your own will. And when you realize that, that's exactly when the true transformation happens, because you've had an insight around how you're creating your own suffering, and now you do not need to do that any longer. And not only are you creating your own suffering, you're amplifying a reality that you do not prefer to be experiencing, which of course doesn't help you to manifest anything that you want into your existence. And it's just a complete waste of your energy and your time, and it's not allowing you to use your precious energy only in the direction of what you prefer to experience, not the direction that somebody wants to experience for you, in a way that it's not allowing you to create what you truly want. Now, number 3 is, in my opinion, if you really want to know the best way to deal with negative emotions in life, in the manifestation process, is to stop creating them. Because what's happening is that when you experience a negative emotion, what typically most people do is they resist the resistance, and then they amplify the resistance, okay? And then what they're doing is that they're creating more resistance, okay? It's one thing to have a little tiny little piece of resistance, maybe telling you that you need to shift something, and that actually it's a very good sign that's happening. I truly do mean it. It's not just a reframe. I guess you could call it a reframe, but actually I believe that this is the way life actually works. It's just telling you something's wrong. Your consciousness is at that level where you know, oh, something's not right, something needs to shift. So it's a good thing. And then from that point, you have an option. Are you going to create more of that? Or are you going to shift your attention to what you prefer to experience and manifest into your life in this present moment instead? So whether that means thinking different thoughts, whether that means focusing your attention on this present moment in a particular way that is going to allow you to be focused on your state of being and aligning your energy, whether that means taking action on something and embodying a state of being where you already are that person that you prefer to be. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's just important to see that create anything other than that thing that you are noticing, because that thing that you're noticing is telling you not to keep going in that direction, but quite the opposite. It's saying that if you keep going in this direction, you're going to go in the opposite direction of what you want, because that resistance is telling you that you're out of alignment with your highest vision and your highest purpose and what it is that you're truly meant to be doing. So you want to take it as a cue in terms of, this is not a bad thing, this is actually a good thing telling me that I need to be doing something differently. And I'm going to tell you one thing right now before I close this video. If you really master how to use this intuitive emotional guidance system that I believe we all have a connection to, that we've forgotten how to use in society, you're going to see that you're so much more powerful than you thought that you were, and that you can create your reality in so much more powerful ways than you thought was even possible, because you don't need to look outside of you to know if you're doing the right thing. You have your own emotional goddamn guidance system, and you know for a fact what decisions you need to make. You know what move to make in the right moment, not exactly using your logical mind, although the logical mind can be a part of it sometimes, but you also know what not to do specifically, because that resistance is going to tell you, so to speak, how to make the right move, but really it's all you. And so I want to conclude this video by saying that I invite you to see the value of your emotional guidance system, and how this one short video, although it is a short video, can have a lasting impact on the rest of your life if you remember what I said about the emotional guidance system. Because I want to tell you one thing: if you master your emotional guidance system, there's nothing that you can't manifest into your existence. Absolutely nothing. You can manifest anything that you truly want, and it'll be perfectly in alignment with this present moment and what is best for you and the all and everybody else, because what you manifest will be in alignment with what the other wants to manifest as well, and your intentions will be aligned with the outer intentions of the other, whatever that other is, whether it's a circumstance and a location that you want to be experiencing, whether it's a friend, whether it's a romantic partnership. It doesn't really matter what it is. The most important thing is to see that that emotional guidance system is going to guide you in your life in every single way. And I encourage you to take the significance of what I'm saying here and to trust in that guidance system relentlessly, fearlessly. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm not here to control you, but I will invite you to see the value of your emotional guidance system, because this is going to be exactly what you need to trust yourself, to know that you are the creator of your reality and that you can manifest any reality you want into existence in the most effortless and easeful way possible by simply trusting your own power. Now, that's all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. Also, please hit that like button for me so that more people can get access to this content, because I do believe that every single person on this planet does deserve to know that they are the creators of their reality and that they can manifest their reality and do so in the most effortless and easeful way possible. And hitting that like button does help more people to get access to this content, because it helps the algorithm grow the channel, so that would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you want to try my free guided meditation that's designed to accelerate your manifestations and bring in what you want in a much faster way, then that's also going to be in the description box of this video and in the comments of this video as well. Now, as always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next